What is going on, everybody? We are back. It's not Friday, unfortunately, but we are back for a little bit of an earlier episode one day before Between the Pipes um, with a new champion crowned. Well, not new, but a champion crowned last night. Before we get into that, Wade, how is your Thursday going so far?
Thursday is going. As you can see, the Leaf hat is back on. It is the off season. I couldn't wear it during the Stanley Cup playoffs because I was still, pretty miserable and, not very happy with the Leafs' performance and losing to Montreal. But hey, I'm still a Leaf fan. I bleed blue. The Leaf hat is on. I could wear it in the summertime, get a little bit hyped, get a little bit ready for the season to come or whatever. So, and then I'm wearing the Team Canada jersey just because you could always rep you can always rep your national colors, right? So, but that being said, Archie, you must be starting to wear some Italian colors soon because your team is going to be facing England on 3 p.m. on Sunday. So that's going to be a pretty
Afternoon.
cool game. Other than that, Euro Cup is still at large. It's still up for takes. That's huge. Hockey is over. Tampa Bay beat Montreal. I mean, who's seen it coming? Everybody, I guess, because Tampa Bay we just knew was a monster. But everything, Archie, is it's fantastic. It's a little bit rainy today. I think it's going to clear up. This weekend's supposed to be pretty nice here in Toronto, Ontario. Things are good, man. How about you? What's going on?
Not too bad. I mean, yeah, you're right. It is a little gloomy out there today. It started late last night and it's been going steady. Um, yeah, we've got the Tampa Bay Lightning in my homemade shirt here. Tampa Bay Lightning repeating as two-time back-to-back Stanley Cup champs. Um, man, I can't wait to get into this discussion because so much happened last night. So the game itself was a pretty good one. I'm not gonna lie. I mean,
Yeah.
nobody wants to see a 1-0, but it was a hard fought 1-0. Carey Price kept the Habs alive as much as he could. And I'm sorry, Montreal Canadiens fans, but man, you knew going into this game, this is your first of a potential three more game sevens. You need to treat this as a game seven. This is do or die hockey. Your goalie's keeping you into it,
Yep.
and you lose 1-0. You don't even score for the guy. And you have Josh Anderson came out to play last night, man. That guy was all over the ice, buzzing around, hitting, throwing his weight around, taking hits. I mean, I get it. It's Vasilevsky. It's not, just your everyday average goalie that you're up against here. But 1-0. Like you needed to win this game. And I know the crowd makes a huge difference. This is where you're going to see it. It definitely did. And I mean, they tried, I guess you could say, but they couldn't get it done. And in the end, as most would have expected, I mean, there's no way Tampa was going to lose four straight. But in the end, they won it at home where they wanted to win it. And what a celebration it was. We'll start off with your take on the game. What'd you think?
Well, let me just say really quickly, it's funny because a lot of people were saying, oh my goodness, why would the mayor of Tampa Bay come out and say that, let's take it easy in Montreal so we can come back and win it at home. And then Quebec didn't let the families fly in just in case they were to win the Stanley Cup from Tampa Bay. So they wouldn't be able to celebrate with their families and friends after, blah, blah, blah. They'd have to fly back or whatever. And I thought that was I thought it was hilarious, but at the same time, everyone's like, it's a curse. It's a curse. Oh my goodness. Why would the mayor of Tampa say this? Like they're going to be screwed now and Montreal's going to win the cup and it's going to be known as this new curse. And I was like, no. I mean, Tampa's just way too good of a team to lose three straight to Montreal. But anyways, the game in itself, I watched most of the game. Man, did Montreal not do what they could have, like all that they could? I mean, sorry. For what Montreal is, basically a 500 team in the regular season in the North Division, go to the Stanley Cup final. They played their hearts out. I got to give it to them. If there's one good thing I can say about the Habs teams especially in the last like even more than a decade now. It's they have really good work ethic and they work really, really fucking hard. And you've seen that throughout this playoffs. And last night's game, like you just said, Josh Anderson flying around, trying everything to get the guys going. I thought they played a very strong game. I thought that they had when they had puck possessions, I thought that they were making the best of it in the offensive zone. But man, Tampa's defense is so good, and Vasilevsky just stands on his head, just like Carey Price does for Montreal. It's hard to get one past that guy. And Montreal doesn't have that electric power play. They use more of that point shot, get it towards the net, or get a shot out from the top of the circle-ish kind of area. Whether the difference with Tampa Bay is you got Stammer and Kucherov, and then point with that one-timer quick off the into the inside in the slot there from Kuch or Stammer. So you know what I mean? I think from a work effort point of view, I thought Montreal played a good game. They came up short, a one-goal game. What are you going to do? I think Montreal was just happy to be in the Stanley Cup Finals. And, hey, man, they showed up. I thought that getting one win out of Tampa Bay was, I mean, that was good. That was great in itself. I mean, good for them. Hats off to them. They did what they could. They did what they could with the roster that they had. And not to mention, I mean, they had a rookie kid, Caulfield, come in, did big things for him, disappeared a little bit in that last series, right? I mean, Tampa Bay knew how to shut that kid down. I mean, Caulfield's not going to a corner with the likes of Savard and Sergachev and friggin' McDonough and Hedman. Like, they were kind of just closing him off. And there was no cycling from the kid because he was just getting pounded. You got guys like Tyler Johnson and Goudreau and Yanni Gourde, who all have scoring capabilities. But did you not see them last night? They were finishing their hits. They were like dogs on a bone last night, skating around. The whole team bought in. Like, Tampa Bay's whole team bought in last night. I think they knew. They smelt blood last night. It was a one-goal game, I get it. But they knew the cup was in the building, at home, in Tampa Bay, and they knew it was time to win the fucking Stanley Cup and not give any more life to Montreal. And they played the game 7. They played game 5, or what was that? Game 6, sorry. Mm-hmm. Was that game 6? Yeah.
No, that was game 5.
Game 5. They played game 5 as it was a game 7, and Tampa really showed up and showed why they are the reigning Stanley Cup champions, man. And, I mean, that's all I got to say, man. I think that I like, you know what? I got to give credit where credit's due. Good on Montreal. I thought they played a good game yesterday. It just wasn't enough. They didn't have enough scoring talent up front to pop in a goal or two against a heavily defensive team that was playing just hard hitting, run at you, straight at you hockey. You know what I mean? So that's good for Montreal, though. But Tampa Bay, man, Tampa's Tampa, the back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. There's only a few teams to do that in the last, I don't know, in the modern day era anyway. Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay with LA and Chicago coming very close, obviously, a year apart or whatever. But yeah, man, we this is one of the best Stanley Cup teams that we've seen in a long time in Tampa Bay, obviously, going back to back. I think Martin St. Louis came out on a tweet and said, man, I think this is going to go down in history as these players will remember this because they will never play individually on a better team than they're playing on right now. Because when they showed Archie, did you see before the game, they showed the fucking lines of Tampa Bay and they just kind of highlighted what the lines look like. And you're just like, holy hell. Like every fucking line can hurt you. Either hurt you physically or hurt you by scoring. You know what I mean? And that's exactly the type of fucking roster Tampa Bay had, man. So they're going to go down in history as one of the best, man. And you just knew that they were destined to win the Stanley Cup after they took out Colorado, in my opinion, anyway. Or not Colorado, sorry. They took out Boston. Who did they have to take out? Colorado was ousted by Vegas. Who the hell did Tampa? Who was their? They beat Carolina, but who was the second round guy? They beat Florida Panthers, which was huge. That was a big series. Then they beat who?
They beat Florida.
Yep.
And then after that, originally they beat Nashville. Was it not?
They beat Nashville first?
Hang on a second. Now I'm getting confused here.
No, they beat Florida Panthers first.
Was it the Panthers first?
Mm-hmm. So they beat the Panthers. Oh, fuck. They beat the Panthers, and then they beat... I know that they beat the Islanders. Did they not? Did they not have to get through the Islanders?
Okay, so they beat the Panthers.
Yeah.
And then they played the winner between Carolina and Nashville.
So they beat, and then they faced Carolina, and then they beat Islanders. So those are like the Islanders and the Carolina Hurricanes are two really shut down type style teams that have great rosters, have a lot of depth, and they have great coaching. Brenda Moore and our boy there, Mud, who we love, for the Islanders. We're so stuck on Tampa Bay and Montreal right now. It's like a lifetime ago.
Oh, Lou Lamoriello, GM, but
Lou Lamoriello is the GM. Wow. Oh my God. Anyways, the ex-coach of Washington, the new coach of Barry Trotz. Come on. Brain fart. Wow. Sorry, everyone, but Barry Trotz. Hey, man, those are two terrific coaches, and for Tampa Bay to get by with those two teams, you just knew they were destined for something special. And yeah, buddy, what are your thoughts on the game last night, Archie? How did you? What were you doing when you were watching it? Were you excited? Were you kind of over it? Did you just know that Tampa was going to win that game, or were you still a little bit shaky? Like, oh my God, if Montreal wins this game, it could get very, very fucking interesting.
I gotta say, I honestly thought Montreal was gonna force overtime. I thought they were gonna be able to do it.
Yeah.
But as the game went on, you could just see Tampa Bay was just kind of settling in. They were just like, "We got this." And Stamkos said it last night. We got this. We were up 1-0, playing in front of their fans, their family, their home crowd. Yeah. They don't want to go back to Montreal. They don't want to travel anymore. They just want to take it and enjoy it and just get into this. And they settled down, and it was just unreal. Like, I don't know, man, just watching them play. And like you said too, it's not just about, winning the game. It's how they won the game. They dominated in every aspect. Montreal gave it everything. They gave it everything they had, but Tampa just gave more, and they gave enough to go through it. And at the end of the game, you see the faces on the players, and Carey Price again, and people were making fun of him, saying you can't tell if Carey Price just lost the Stanley Cup Finals or he just got home from going grocery shopping. Like, he just straight faced. He was on the bench, patting everybody in the back. Just nothing phases the guy. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but there was no. I'm sure afterwards, outside of the cameras, everybody's pissed off. Nobody wants to lose a game. Nobody wants to go that far, and then that's it. You're done.
Yeah.
But they showed images of Shea Weber on the bench with a look of disbelief. Like, he just looked like what happened? For guys like Suzuki and Caulfield, I don't expect emotion. This is their first run at the show. I mean, this was a lot of players' first run at the show, but it's their first experience, and it's been a hell of a first experience for those guys. So they've got nothing to lose, right? But for guys like Corey Perry, Shea Weber, just sitting there, like, man, yeah, like, we gave it everything. And even Anderson, man, the guy was unreal. I thought he was going to tie it at one point on the break, and the one where he went ribs first into the net after he got stopped. I mean, I give Montreal credit. They got where they got, and you said it best. They played the best they could as a 500 team would. Mm-hmm. But my goodness, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and all you kept hearing, every single person they interviewed, including John Cooper, was they all know. They tried not to talk about it, but midway through the series, they talked about it. We know we're not going to play with this team next season.
Yeah.
There's no way. And you get all the people freaking out about that whole, well, yeah, of course they won. 18 million over the cap. Kucherov was out all season, comes back in the playoffs. Difference maker. Yeah, you could argue that. Absolutely. How this even was a rule that, or not a rule, but how this was even overlooked by the NHL when it comes to the cap, how this wasn't something that's like, hey, the cap still applies in the playoffs. I feel like the only exception should be made is if you lose a player to injury, then it's different. But if you have a player who's been out all year and then you reinsert him into the lineup for the playoffs and it's a Kucherov, it's not like, someone else, that kind of sucks. It stings because you kind of found a loophole and it worked to your benefit because, again, it's Kucherov. Not to undermine the cast, the supporting cast on this team is unreal. You got Coleman, who may have very well scored the goal of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Stamkos played solid throughout the entire series. I think he had 10 goals in the entire playoffs. Kucherov, obviously. Hedman. Who's the guy that
Braden Point.
Braden Point.
And then don't forget Alex Killorn was on a tear too before he got injured, man.
Miller, when they interviewed him yesterday, and he said he had a pin inserted in a rod and pins and stuff. He basically had his shin rebuilt. That's crazy. And to see him on the ice hoisting the cup, and you could see he was favoring that leg.
Yeah.
That was something else. And even afterwards, when they interviewed him, and he said, I was ready to come back if there was going to be a game 6.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, that's a lot to say from a guy who's just had his shin rebuilt. Like that's
he could say that all he wants. There's no way that the coaching staff are going to let him step onto on the ice in a game 6 Stanley Cup playoffs fucking finals. There's no way.
Absolutely no way. But the heart and the desire was there, the passion. That's a lot of players don't know what that means. And when he was the post-game interview was him at the table with Hedman and Stamkos, and I think he said he got drafted in 2007. So he's been there a long time. He's been in the game a long time. And for him, this was a big deal. So I could see why he wanted to be out there if there was a game 6. But I mean, for Stamkos too, he thanked everyone for supporting him over the last couple seasons with his injuries, some of which most might have even thought could have been career ending when he snapped his leg. And I think it happened twice to him. So,
well, he still doesn't look like Steven Stamkos from like 3-4 years ago.
No,
so
exactly.
You can tell there's some lingering stuff going on. You know what I mean? He's just it's more so the speed. You know what I mean? He's just not as fast as he used to be. He's not running around. He also is like 31 years old now or whatever, but still, I mean, a 31-year-old guy can still skate around like the wind. You can tell that he's trying a little bit extra hard to get those strides in and those extra strides to beat someone wide or whatever, or beat someone in a foot race to the boards to win a puck battle. But hey, when the puck is on his stick, he's dynamite. So
absolutely. And then you got Pat Maroon, the big rig, 3 straight Stanley Cups, man. If I'm the Leafs, I'm knocking on that door asking, Pat Maroon, what do you want to come play in Toronto? He's like a good luck charm where he goes. 3 straight cups. And what a character he is too. Like unreal. Unreal. Like that's the guy you want to bring in as your mentor, your veteran in presence to say, hey guys, I've now done this 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
This is what we need to do as a team. And again, I get the whole cap thing, but what a team. What a team they built in Tampa Bay. And a lot of people arguing last year and this year, the asterisks. Well, I feel like this is good enough. They won it in a shitty affected COVID year in a bubble, came back and won it again in a follow-up shitty year of COVID. And you want to call it asterisks, put it on both years, that equals 1 solid cup run. To me, they deserved both. They played hard, man. And you've said it time and time again. It doesn't matter what happens in the season. It's how the team plays in the playoffs. And these guys were built to win Stanley Cups. Like if the cap wasn't an issue next year, this team could probably go for a 3-peat. No doubt.
And don't forget, Archie, 3 years ago, they got beat 4 straight games by the Columbus Blue Jackets. and they were embarrassed. They were President's Trophies winners.
Yep.
They had the highest scoring talent in the NHL with Kucherov and Stammer and Point. Like, they were on fire 3 years ago. Had the most points by a hockey team in the regular season in a long time, or if ever, or something like that. Like, I think they broke the record. Go into playoffs, and they fucking got swept by the Columbus Blue Jackets. So, as a Leaf fan, still lots of heartache. You know, we've been to so many game sevens in the last 5 years or whatever, right? I think we've been to fucking like 4 of them in the last 5 or in the last 6. But that being said, hey, Tampa Bay's been through their heartaches as well. They've been through their ups and downs, and look what's happened. They adjusted correctly and in the right way in a management standpoint, right? They did what they had to do, and look what they built. My God, it is one of the better fucking hockey teams we've ever seen, on not just on paper, but on the ice itself, which really fucking matters. Mm-hmm. You got fucking Tyler Johnson scoring 2 big goals in game 4, or in game 3 it was. Tyler Johnson was on waivers, man. He was on fucking waivers. I'm watching this kid fly around last night, finishing his hits. He's as quick as anybody else on the ice. He's like a dog on a bone. I always use that term. He was fucking, like, you know what I mean? He plays, that guy was playing, I don't know, what is he? 5'7" or something, maybe a $165 soaking wet. He's playing like he's 6'4", 220 pounds, man. Just the way that's kind of the way that all the Tampa Bay players played this playoffs, man. They played bigger. They played stronger. They played faster. And they got rewarded. They played that style of hockey where it was, I'm playing for the guy beside me. I'm playing for myself, for the guy beside me, I'm playing for my goalie. I'm playing for the management. I'm playing for the city. I'm playing for the fan base. They wore that crest, the Tampa Bay logo, with pride, man. And they fucking muscled everybody. They outmuscled everybody. And it was awesome to see. It's amazing. Good for them, man. I know you were just talking about a little bit of the loophole with the Kucherov thing, but let's get real here. I know that it doesn't apply to playoff format with the cap and everything, but Kucherov was also out with a pretty significant injury. Like he had like a hip replacement or a hip surgery. Yep. Whatever. He had a major surgery, right? So at the same time, it's like, okay, yeah, this guy's coming in and just playing playoff hockey. But hey, man, if he could have played in the regular season and got some games in, he fucking would have. You know what I mean? It is Kucherov. He is Tampa Bay Lightning. You know what I mean? As much as you want to say Stamkos is Tampa Bay Lightning, I'm pretty sure Stamkos will always be Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, he scored 60 goals for those motherfuckers like 10 years ago or whatever, right? He's been one of the greatest players to ever play for them in history. But Kucherov, this guy's numbers in the last few years, he is breaking records. Like, he is an unbelievable talent. And he came in, and he's a $9 million player, came in and fucking just turned on the Jets. Like, I think he got Archie, 2 goals, his first fucking appearance in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like, everyone's like, oh, here we go, Kuch is back. So, you know what I mean? And I don't want to take I really don't want to take anything away from Tampa Bay for what they've done. Even Stamkos came out and said it last night in the post-game interview. Man, we have been through so much, like through the bubble, through injuries, through everything. And I think he was talking a bit about himself too, because he's went through a lot. And like you said, Archie, they knew. John Cooper came out and said, hey, this team knew, all right, during the Stanley Cup Finals that they weren't going to be together next year. There's going to be cap issues. Guys are on fucking 1-year deals and they're ending, and they're just not going to be able to afford like some of these guys. So, and a lot of these guys' contracts that are up, some of them are significant pieces of Tampa Bay that are going to want to get paid now. Mm-hmm. I mean, for instance, you just mentioned Coleman. Is that guy? I think that guy's up for contract. if I'm not mistaken. And what a fucking playoff performer this guy is. I mean, this guy has scored some big fucking goals. Tyler Johnson. I just mentioned Tyler Johnson. This guy's probably up for contract too. But this guy just had a monster playoffs. He played very well on the third line. This is a good third line center or third line guy on any team that you would like to have. This guy might have just increased his pay books by, I would say, at least $500,000. If he's making, like, let's say $1 million, he might be a 1.4, 1.3 guy now. I don't know, right? So
he's locked in. He's locked in. They've got him for 3 more years at $5 million, and he's earning that.
Wow. And they put him on waiver. Okay, so fuck. You know what, Archie? That's why no one took him. Because they put him on waivers, and he's a $5 million guy, and he's not really a $5 million player during the regular season. Is during the fucking playoffs. Oh man, crazy, man.
But let's
get into this. Let's get into this, Archie.
Yep.
What do you think? I love this. I love it. I want to know your opinion. What do you think about the Kucherov fucking press conference after the fucking game with no shirt on?
Okay.
Came in, confidence, all fucking a couple fucking beers in him. What are your thoughts on the whole interview, buddy?
Okay, so you said it. I had it queued. Let's watch this quick snippet together, because this was the most epic post-championship interview I've ever seen in my life. So let's get this one.
It's going to go down in the books.
From the Lightning, we have Nikita Kucherov. Media, please raise your hand if you have a question. We'll start with Joe Smith, The Athletic.
Oh, let's hear it.
Just how would you describe? Congratulations. How would you describe your emotions right now after doing what you guys did?
I don't know what to say. It's fucking back to back, and I couldn't sleep for 3 nights. And to be able to win this game is huge. Wasi was outstanding. MVP. I was telling him every day, Wasi, you're MVP. You're the best player. And then they gave it to whatever the guy in Vegas, the Vezina. And then last year they gave Vezina to somebody else. Number one bullshit. Wasi took he took MVP, and I was keep telling him he's MVP. He's the guy that fucking he's the best. He was on his head today, and he kept us in the game. And another shout out by him, remarkable. Can't even tell more. I'm so happy I didn't want to go back to Montreal, but the fans in Montreal, come on. They acted like they won the Stanley Cup last game. Are you kidding me?
John Romano, Tampa Bay Times.
Their final was last series. Okay. Was it long enough? Answer. I took a time. Hey, I kept it the whole year inside.
Nikita, could you just talk about the journey that you guys have been on? There's so many of these guys that have been together for 7, 8, 9, 10 years. What's it like to be able to celebrate with guys that you've grown up with?
What did he say? Yeah, buy a new microphone.
Go ahead, John. Repeat the question.
Just wondering what it was like to celebrate with guys that you have been teammates with for so long.
That's what you want. Okay. It's Sammer, Johnny, Polly, Heidi, all those guys are the outstanding players. Trev's here. That's a Bud Light, That's not champagne.
Oh, okay. You're back.
That's the number one bullshit again. Those guys been, and I've been involved with those guys, and some ups and downs. And I said one time, you give us one time to win, we're gonna win twice, and that's what happened. And I'm really happy for those guys with Sammer coming back and play the whole year and be able to play in the playoff. And he was outstanding over there, and he was really captain, and he was so vocal in the room. And you guys don't even know he was amazing. Like I love Sammer. He's one of the best, and he's so funny too. He says something, I'm laughing. It's not even funny, but I'm laughing. he's funny to me. He's got sense. He's got good sense of humor, and he keeps the guys and the guy. Everybody wants to push themselves, and Haiti's the same way. But I'm really happy for those guys, and I'm really happy to be part of the whatever we went through, and we went back to back. Come on.
Dan Rosen, NHL.com.
Nikita, when you tell Andre that he's the best, what is his response? What does he say? What does he tell you when you keep telling him he's the best?
He's a very humble guy. He says a bunch of whatever, like, come on, like, stop it, whatever, like, don't say that. He doesn't want people near him say he's the best, because he wants to prove me he's the best, but I know he's the best, He wants to prove me, but I'm like, Wesley, you proved me a fucking long time ago. When I was 15, you proved it to me. I was like, questioning, he's the best. He's going to be the best, whatever. He's going to make it to the NHL. And he's very humble, and, he keeps working. Even though, like, he's getting robbed every year by NHL, not getting the Vezina, he's still humble. He still works hard. And, if he would play in a different market, he would take this Vezina year after year. He would beat all the records, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He's the best. But he's very humble.
Last question, Ed NNC at Tampa Bay Times.
Nikita, after doing this in the bubble in 65 days in the bubble last year, how special was it to be able to do this on home ice with your family and friends and just kind of enjoy that whole atmosphere at the end?
Well, it's a lot of questions too today, eh? Come on.
Come on.
I'm used to 1-2 questions. Today is like, what, 5? Fucking making a record. He was definitely special to see everybody. We had a full crowd today, didn't we? Did we? Unbelievable. They were so loud. They were unbelievable. And to win in front of them, it's so special. Everybody's going to remember for the rest of their lives this moment. And come on, like, our fans is the best. And I don't know what to say. He was special.
Thanks, Nikita.
Buddy, that is definitely ultimately one of the greatest post Stanley Cup interviews. Not even post Stanley Cup, just interviews ever. Everything about it was fucking phenomenal. Was great. That is entertainment. That is character. That is embracing who you are and not giving a fuck about what the media thinks about your personality. Comes out in all colors. And Nikita Kucherov basically just came out and was kind of talking like he was talking to his fucking buddy there in that room, like his buddies in the room. Like, come on, what the fuck? Yeah, like, I love it. I love it, Archie. What's your take on it?
It was by far. I mean, I thought Patrick Maroon last year at the parade ceremonies was epic with his speech when he was slurring and he's like, I don't even know why I'm up here. It should be Stammer or someone else.
Yeah.
And he called himself the Big Rig, baby. And he said it, like, I'm the Big Rig. This one took the cake. Comes out here shirtless, crushing Bud Lights.
Yeah.
Slide of the can off the table.
Yeah.
Unreal. And then the guy brings him a bottle of what he thinks is champagne. He goes, that's Bud Light too. That's the shit. It's bullshit. It's just unreal. Like you said, no hiding it. Completely transparent, comes out there and says, hey, man, we just won the Stanley Cup. Fuck all of you. And some people are frowning on it. I am loving every bit of it. We got to see the natural reactions that this is it. It's not prim and proper. Even Stamkos was kind of buzzed in his interview, and he kind of kept saying back to back, like he kept interfering with little back to back tidbits here and there.
Yeah.
But Cooch just brought it out and just zero fucks given there, and
yeah.
Good on him. Hell of an interview. I thought it was amazing. I loved it. The NHL needs more of that. He didn't hold back. We live in a world where people swear. Okay, if we're gonna look after, but it's a family game. Kids swear. They shouldn't be swearing. kids hear it at school. They hear it on the school bus. They hear it everywhere they go. So why take away from the reality of it? It's not like he was swearing at someone or insulting anyone. It was just in remark. And I thought it was incredible. It was raw. It was natural. It wasn't scripted in any way. And even on ice, when they were doing the interviews, there's always that one player, when I forget who it was from Tampa Bay now. They were interviewing players on the ice, and it was one of their young guys who dropped the F-bomb, the first one, and he kind of stopped and he said, "Oops, I'm sorry. Like, I know I wasn't supposed to say that." But he did, and it wasn't, there was no delay on it. And the commentator said, it happens every year. We expect it to come from, one player, the very first one, who it's going to be. Not a big deal. And he just kept going, and it was nothing after that. But this one, behind the curtains, this happens outside of the arena, was just by far my favorite interview I've ever seen. And just for that, I became a fan of Kucherov. Like, I loved it. He clearly speaks highly of his own goalie and doesn't care about anybody else. He was adamant about that. And I mean, might as well mention it here as well. Andre Vasilevsky deservedly winning the Conn Smythe with a shutout Stanley Cup win.
Saw that coming.
Unreal. Just a monster, absolute monster. And it's funny because a lot of people had no idea who Gary Bettman was talking about, because Ken Dryden was the last to have done it, and to win it with a shutout and win the Conn Smythe. And people are like, who the hell's Ken Dryden?
Wow.
That says a lot, man. That says a lot. Yeah. Andre Vasilevsky engraved himself in a very big spot in the NHL. And someone else I wanted to mention in this game that played a huge part was Ross Colton, the goal scorer, 24 years old. I think he played 9 minutes last night, and right off the bench, he got this goal from the line. And it was like, man, they asked him, how did it feel? And he said, every kid's dream is to win a Stanley Cup. But imagine to be the goal scorer, the one guy who scores the goal to win that cup, to clinch it at the age of 24, and not be, your superstar player on the team. That in itself is huge. And it's amazing, because that's all you heard was all these guys saying how they didn't sleep for the whole week. Stamkos said it. I didn't sleep for the last 3 nights. Kucherov said it. I haven't slept all week.
Yeah.
Some people are arguing Kucherov was doing a lot of this throughout his interview. I don't know. I just think he was hammered, and that's just your typical sinuses after a hard played game. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go out there and make any assumptions or make any accusations, but epic interview, epic performance by the Tampa Bay Lightning, back-to-back champions. I don't know what else to say. I can't say anything bad about this team. How about you?
There's nothing bad to say about this team. I think, dude, I'll three-peat what I've already said. I think that it's one of the better Stanley Cup championship teams we've seen in a long time. Like, they were just, you know what? I think the best Stanley Cup roster, Archie, that I've ever seen was that fucking cup that Chicago won, their first one, with Taves and Kane and Bufflin and Saad and Andrew Ladd and Keith, and oh my God, the names just go on. Patrick Sharp, and what a fucking Corey Crawford was in net. And it was just, I just remember watching that 2000, and I think it was like 2010 or 12 or something, when Chicago won their first one. And I just thought, that is a fucking epic roster. Like, they were winning the Stanley Cup no matter what. And it's been a good 10 years, but I think that Tampa Bay takes the cake, man. I mean, those 4 lines, this whole playoffs, I really thought, as soon as Colorado was kind of out, my next team was like, okay, Tampa Bay is looking great. And especially when Kucherov came back, I was a little skeptical with putting any type of prediction on Tampa Bay, because I'm like, well, I'm not sure, because Stammer was injured too, right? He wasn't doing the greatest, and Kucherov was off all season long. So I was like, what kind of Tampa Bay are we going to get? As soon as those star players showed up big, and then their supporting cast was their supporting cast and had huge, like their supporting cast, their minutes, like fourth line and third line minutes, they're up in like 15, 16s, man. Like these guys roll out and play like a lot of hockey. So that being said, man, it was fun to watch. I'm very happy for Tampa Bay, man. Like I'm really happy for them. I think it's really cool. I really enjoy the personality the characteristics that just came out of the dressing room. And we got to see, like you said, perfect word, how transparent Kucherov was, man. Just you seen who he is. I love when he's talking about Stammer. He's like, you know, Stammer, like that guy could just say something and like he's a funny guy. Like I don't even know. Like he just make me laugh. Like people don't know that, but he's a pretty funny guy, you know, like to me anyway. This guy was, man, fucking, they got the big rig there. They got Stammer. I bet you there's so many good personalities in that dressing room. Lots of leadership. Lots of guys that have been in the game a long time. It's a brotherhood. They've been playing together for a long time. And it's what better time to win a Stanley Cup than post-pandemic. I know the pandemic is still kind of in play in certain areas, but, you know, we are finally kind of, you know, we've hit the kind of peak of the whole pandemic, and we are now we're in the uprise. We're in the elevation of something better and getting back to normality. And to win a cup during the fucking pandemic and then to win it right after is huge. And it's something that these players, something that we, Archie, as fans of the game and everyone in NHL hockey will remember for the rest of our lives, because we're going to have COVID-19 plastered in our minds for a long time. And we're always going to say, oh, who won the cup back to back? That Tampa Bay fucking Lightning team. Like they were electric, man. They were terrifying to play against. Good for them. I can't wait to see the fucking parade now and see if they're going to be on jet skis and boats. And obviously they're going to be able to do a parade this year and not just be on boats. But I mean, I think that they got to get on the boats a little bit. I carry that tradition now, right? They got to do it. And man, I can't wait to hear Stammer and Kucherov at the mic again, just to get brought up and talk a little bit more. Big Rig will get up there, probably say a few things. I'm sure McDonough will maybe want to say a few things. Hedman, oh man, good for Tampa Bay, but I don't know if they're going to be the same Tampa Bay next year, man. They're going to be a good team, but let's see. Maybe it opens the door for some other teams to have a successful playoffs. I don't know.
Yeah. And now, I mean, we might as well get into what's going on around the NHL. So a couple days ago, Vladimir Tarasenko kind of makes shockwaves with a request to be traded from St. Louis. He's got 2 years left on his deal worth $15 million. He wants out. And that came as a bit of a shock. And then shortly after that, the Leafs announced today they re-signed Travis Dermott to a 2-year, $3 million deal. Very good deal. Now, whether or not he remains a Maple Leaf after the expansion draft, who knows? But they locked him in there for 2 years. But I mean, we may end up losing him. What else was there? There was the Kraken announced their first head coach, which is former Leafs assistant coach. Is it Dave Haxtell?
Mm-hmm.
And then they went ahead and announced Paul McFarland and Jay Leach as the two assistant coaches. And McFarland was also on the Leafs coaching staff in 2019, 2020. So that now opens up 2 assistant coach vacancies in Toronto, which is interesting because I thought somebody would be all over that in the media, and it's been kind of quiet. So no information on that so far, but 2 vacancies now in Toronto. You got to assume Bruce Boudreau, I mean, man, He said he wants to come here. You've now got 2 vacancies.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen there?
I think he'd be good in the dressing room, bud. He'd be fucking kicking ass for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think that's what the team needs. I think
he'd like go up to like Marner and he'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing out there? Get your fucking head out of your ass." Whereas Sheldon Keefe's like, "Don't worry, Marner. It's okay. Like, just go out and try your hardest next shift, and maybe something will come about. You know, just keep playing as hard as you can, keep playing well, and things will happen for you." Whereas Boudreaux's just like, "This is the fucking NHL. You're fucking here. I'll send you down to the minors. Get the fuck out of here." Like, oh man, I think it would be a good duo for sure.
It would.
Give me
And
a good
the funny
mix.
is, John Cooper, they kept quoting him saying he kept telling the team all year, "Have you guys had enough?" And he said it. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. And man, he kept them going and against all odds. And you know, it's not easy. COVID or not COVID, it is not easy to win back-to-back Stanley Cups. And I mentioned it earlier.
You have over 30 teams in the NHL, but it's never easy, no matter what.
Yeah, it's only happened 18 times in the existence of the NHL, and this being one of them. Prior to them, it was the Penguins in 2015 and 2016, and then prior to that was the Red Wings in 96, 97.
Yeah.
And then the Penguins again in 90, 91. And then we're talking like we're starting to go back to the Gretzky years in Edmonton.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
This was not an easy feat. And regardless, I don't care what anybody says, COVID or not, it was still the same length of playoff hockey. It was still 16 teams, and it was still there was still blood. It was a fast game, and there was a lot put out there, a lot on the line, and they still won it back to back. So will they three-peat? Very unlikely, and only because the team's going to get blown apart.
Blown up, yeah.
Because now that salary cap issue is an issue going into the season. So now that becomes a problem. Blake Coleman is a free agent.
Before we move too much forward, I just want to touch on the Tarasenko. He wants out. He wants to opt out. I'm not even going to say anything, Archie. Ready? Look at me.
Yep.
Who fucking cares, man? I'm sorry. Like Tarasenko has had a great career so far. He's getting a little older now. I'm not sure how he's got to be around his 30s.
29.
Huh?
29.
He's 29. He had his good years. He's had some bad injuries, but it's not the same Tarasenko. Tarasenko he's your average NHL player. So, I mean, he's a big name. You said this 5 years ago. You're like, holy fuck, that's a huge fucking big fish on the market. But Tarasenko isn't the same Tarasenko. But, he wants out. I mean, I don't blame him. I mean, St. Louis won their cup. Hey, it's starting to fade away. It's starting to slowly fade away now. It's been like 3 years now, and it'll be 4 years next year. And Pietrangelo is left, and they didn't have the greatest year this year, man. They struggled a bit. So that being said, I don't know. Good. You want out? We'll see which team takes him. I just hope that it's not Toronto. Jesus Christ, stay away.
Oh, no. We don't want that. That's a lot of money, and we don't have much more to spend. So yeah, there's going to be players available, but again, teams like the Leafs, like Tampa Bay, like other teams that are up there with the cap, they're not going to be able to just sign players. So it's going to have to be trades. You look at, I mean, I'm mind blown at Tampa being 18 million over the cap because they don't have anybody making over 10 million a season, but they've got a lot of guys making 4, 5, 6,
3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like their lowest paid player is Matthew Joseph, and that's the guy who dropped the F-bomb the very first of the night.
Yes.
Matthew Joseph making $730,000, and Mitchell Stevens, whoever that is,
who didn't play,
is making 900. So I mean, they have a lot of guys. Like Killorn is at 4.5, Anthony Cirelli 4.8, Tyler Johnson 5, Yanni Gourde 5.1, Andre Palat, who is an amazing player by the way, 5.3.
Oh yeah.
and it goes higher.
Archie, if you win a cup back to back in a place like Tampa Bay, do you not just move your whole fucking family there and kind of settle there for the rest of your life? Because you're going to be known as a fucking god there. You're not going to have to pay for too many fucking family meals ever again. You're going to walk into a restaurant and people are going to be like, holy fuck, Big Rig is in my restaurant. Pictures, it's on the house. You can drink for free. Like, fuck me, man. Like, you want to talk about getting treated like royalty. Winning back-to-back Stanley Cups is huge, man.
Yep. And there's some familiar names on this roster, Leafs Nation. Luke Schenn.
Yep.
Luke Schenn wins a Stanley Cup. Curtis McElhinney, back-to-back Stanley Cups as a backup goalie. It hurts, man. The Leafs have had ties to several past Stanley Cup teams, and Luke Schenn winning back-to-back as well. I mean, it's his brother won it in St. Louis. I mean, these guys.
Yeah, Carl Gunnarsson won it in St. Louis. Alex Steen won it in St. Louis.
Yeah. So I mean,
a few guys.
It's interesting, and I know there's a lot of people saying, Luke Schenn is also a UFA. Is that a player the Leafs could consider?
No. I don't need a guy with no foot speed at all.
That's the thing. He slows the team down, and he's only 31, so it's not like he's old, but he slows the team down.
Luke Schenn is only 31.
Yeah, you believe that?
That's
31?
fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I thought he was like 34, 35 now.
No, he's 31 years old. And played for the Leafs in what should have been, his relatively prime years. And I mean, his best season, he had 22 points. He wasn't the best, but actually it was the best of his career. 79 games, 22 points. That was his career year in 2011.
Yeah.
And then he went off to Philly, and then he became just a defenseman, just a filler.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not somebody I would ever suggest the Leafs go after. Just doesn't make sense with a team when you're trying to rebuild. That's not where you want to spend your money.
Give me a Savard. Oh my god, I would love to have a Savard. He's a fucking beast, bro.
Also a UFA, also 30 years old, also Canadian.
I'd take him in a heartbeat, bud.
And him too. Columbus Blue Jacket forever. Comes to Tampa Bay, plays 14 games, 0 points, and 5 assists in the playoffs, wins a Stanley Cup.
That's it.
Shutdown. Like,
also scares the living shit out of anyone that comes close to him. I wouldn't fuck with that giant. Are you kidding me? I'd rather go up and mess around with Hedman or Sergachev than go to Savard. Savard looks like he'd eat me for dinner, bud.
Yep. So big boy.
Yeah.
And he plays a great shutdown role, and he showed it with he showed it with Tampa.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to think when it comes to now with the rest of the offseason. I mean, we're going to see Tampa Bay is going to celebrate their win, and however they choose to do it, I'm sure will be epic.
There's going to be a lot of so Stanley Cup Finals is over. We're looking forward to the parade and looking forward to, the interviews of the players and everything, and seeing the Stanley Cup a little bit more, getting hoisted. But it is off-season time, Archie, and it's closing. Like, we're talking like two weeks away or something, and we're going to know trades. We're like, there's going to be a bunch of trades going on. There's going to be some free agency signings, whatever the case may be. So we'll see what happens. It's kind of exciting to be a hockey fan right now, and not to mention the draft is coming up soon too. So I know Buffalo has the number 1 pick this year, and then the expansion draft, yes sir. So as hockey fans, we still have a lot to look forward to within the next month of the NHL. So it's going to be pretty interesting.
Yep, and we've got the expansion draft on the 21st. So I mean, that's only 13 days away. So exactly like you said, 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we're going to start to see action. Teams are going to start to change. Definitely, every team is pretty much going to lose somebody at some point. So we're going to see are we going to see another Golden Knights, or is it not going to work in the same way this year? Who knows? But I feel like they're going to put together a decent team in Seattle. And they've been given the go-ahead, the green light to spend right up to the cap because they saw what happened in Vegas. So it's like, why not? Go big or go home. First year, let's spend the money. You got it, go for it. So they're going to do it. They're going to spend to every dollar to make this team as competitive as they can. And I'm just
that logo is horrible, man.
Yeah,
that logo is horrible, man. What is going on with these horrible fucking logos?
It's too animated, too cartoony for me.
I
saw
don't like
some really nice projected images that were proposed by fans or whoever.
So did I. I thought you would actually have like a mystical kind of creature of a kraken.
Yeah,
I think that the idea, I don't know if you remember, Archie, but the idea with the anchor, with the kraken like fucking kind of grasping it and all around it, I thought that would be fucking cool, man. I'm just saying. Then I would be like, okay, maybe if the Leafs are shit, I'll just be like, oh, I do like Seattle, like good for them. You know, I'll go to Seattle, watch a couple games here and there during my lifetime. But I don't know. I cannot support a logo like that. Sorry, man.
Yeah. And I almost thought that they would have used that one that you were talking about even on the shoulder patch. But on the shoulder patch, I think it's just going to be the anchor with nothing. So, I mean, it's maybe a third jersey might come out at some point that might make it worthwhile. But nonetheless, it is what it is. So in looking at they haven't even talked about it yet. But like what happens? What's the projected, like the what are they called? The divisions. Like, what are they? Obviously, they're going to walk away from the divisions they had this year.
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't make sense to keep it. So with that, do they go leave Seattle? I'm just trying to look it up real quick.
Also, it's going to be kind of interesting to see what happens with Jack Eichel. So you're going to be gone. What's happening with that kid? So
yes, that's the other thing too. And that kind of got quieted down a bit with the playoffs going on and things kind of just went hush.
But about to start ramping up.
Yep. So the Kraken are joining the Pacific Division in the West. So they'll be added to that division.
So like San Jose.
So you'll have, I think it's
Anaheim. Isn't that Pacific?
Anaheim, Vegas, San Jose, Minnesota, LA, Arizona, Anaheim, Colorado.
Nice.
So it'll be a pretty cool side of things for them. I believe, was there not a team that's going to be switching somewhere, or were they just being added? They might have just been added.
Colorado was the last team that got like moved over or something, right? I thought.
Yeah, I was trying to find it with Seattle how this would all work out, but all I'm finding is all this other stuff right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now in terms of divisions, they're going to walk away from obviously the North, the West, the Central, and the East, and hopefully go back to the original projected divisions. Yeah, I can't find it. But yeah, so that announcement, I'm assuming, would be expected to come soon, depending on how things go with COVID from now until I would assume preseason would still be slated to start in late September. I think they never changed when their start dates were.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it'll all come down to what they decide. So there's going to be quite a few announcements to be made from the NHL's point of view with regards to start date for the next season, how teams are going to look after the expansion draft, and then once things open up for trades and whatnot to happen, I mean, they're already there, but I feel like after the expansion draft, we're going to start to see a little more happen. And then the actual draft itself, who picks who, and then we'll see things start to change. And then almost, you get a couple weeks off, and then it's training camp starts up.
Training camp, yeah, man. Fuck, that's what happens when you're hoisting Stanley Cups in like mid-July. Hockey's right around the corner, man. So.
Yes, sir. So
I mean, that's the other crazy thing. The Tampa Bay Lightning are the only team to ever hoist the cup within, I think it was like 250 days or something like that. Like, usually it's a 365-day thing. But, Yeah, man. They won it within like 9 months of each other, so that's pretty cool.
Yep. Definitely cool and definitely not easy to do. So with that, I guess the next big date on our calendar is the expansion draft on the 21st of July. Until then, that is it from myself and Wade on Between the Pipes for this season. We'll start off our season 3, if you want to call it,
Yeah.
with our next episode, which we will announce once we're ready to figure that out, once we've got something worth talking about. Because for the next couple weeks, Tampa Bay is going to be riding that second wave of Stanley Cup championship, and
Oh, yeah.
Tampa Bay is going to be flipped upside down, and COVID is still going on, and we'll see what happens after that. But we are wrapping it up for this season on the show. Thank you to all of our viewers, followers, anybody who's ever participated, commented during our shows. We appreciate you all. Wade and I have had some ideas brewing that we were hoping to bring to you this season, but of course, with COVID going on, things kind of got put on the back burner. But we do have those ideas being pulled back in hopes of being able to use them for the upcoming season of Between the Pipes. We won't give you much information on that right now because we got to figure all out the details and whatnot. But we've got some great ones that are definitely going to take things for a little turn with the show. Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to bring that in season 3. Wade, any closing remarks on the season for yourself?
You said it all, Archie. I'll just say, yeah, thank you everyone who has ever commented, whoever has viewed the show and took time out of their day to listen to us or listen to us on a drive or, watch us kind of live, and really appreciate it, guys. We love what we do. It's a passion. It's a hobby. It unites us all. You know what I mean? Hockey is an amazing thing. And you make really good friendships out of it too. Me and Archie are pretty close. So like he said, we got some stuff coming down the pipeline, and we're going to work on a couple more things to incorporate into the show. We don't really have specific details yet, but like he said, we're working on them, and we're going to try to make things a little bit more exciting, a little bit more fun to watch. And I'm looking forward to it 100%. Thank you. This year has been crazy. COVID is still at large. I mean, I think where we live right now, guys, in Toronto, Ontario, I think we're only in stage 2 or almost at stage 3 now. So, I mean, it's been basically lockdown, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 months there last summer in Toronto, Ontario. So it's been really hard to do stuff and get out and I can't wait to go just watch a game live again. You know what I mean? That's one of my favorite things to do, an activity that really means a lot to me, especially going and seeing a Leaf game. I usually go to about 3 a year or so, but unfortunately haven't seen one in a while. And yeah, we got the draft coming up. So there's going to be a lot to talk about, and we'll see what happens there. Who knows? Maybe Gary Bettman will get up and say, you're going to want to hear this, which if you're a hockey fan, you know what that means. Something big is coming down the pipeline, and we'll see what happens. But thank you, everyone. Archie's an amazing host. Like I said before, I'll say it again. He does everything for the show. He sets it up. He's the tech guy, gets everything going. He's very professional. He's always ready to go, and he's a great guy to have hosting this show, guys. So thank you very much, and enjoy your summer, and hopefully we can talk to you guys in the next few weeks.
Thanks again. Couldn't have said it better myself. And thank you for the kind words. Wade, as always, best co-host I could have. Definitely helps when you got somebody who's got the same passion for the game as I do. And of course, us being crazy Leaf fans, you can never get enough of us, I know. But yeah, so we'll see you guys for season 3. Look out for an announcement when that's ready to go. And we'll talk soon. Thanks again for tuning in. Thank you for everything, and we'll see you soon.